Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to discuss something that I've been brewing over lately regarding the division Heartland. It's not a for sure sign that the game is in danger, but I think if Red Storm and Ubisoft are not careful, it certainly could be. So what am I on about? Well, given what we've been told so far about Heartland's development, its release window, and the lack of information that we got at E3 and just in general thus far, I think the window is closing for them to choose a release date. And depending on what month they pick, I think it could be fatal for the game's success. So why do I say that? A good example to reflect upon is the tale of Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 was a great game. It was given that reputation by the majority of critics and audience reviews for its campaign inclusion over the first game and the multiplayer innovations that they made, yet its player base was never that huge, and it didn't achieve that great a financial success. And this was because, for some stupid reason, EA chose to release it in the week in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, even though Battlefield 1 was also EA's own title. I have no idea why they ever did that. And so because of that, the audience was cannibalized, and Titanfall lost the battle of, popularity simply because the other two franchises had that brand recognition. It had nothing to do with the quality of the game itself, because, like I said, Titanfall 2 is a really good game. So we saw what happened there. And what's happening in the back half of 2021? Oh yeah, Battlefield 2042 comes out, Call of Duty, the new one that's rumored to be a World War II shooter is coming out, and Halo are all having their major releases. And obviously there's a lot more games. Those three are just kind of the big franchise ones that are in a similar-ish genre. And I'd argue that Heartland stands an even worse chance than Titanfall did if it were to go up against these big juggernauts, because it's not even a main franchise game. It's a free-to-play spin-off game of a, pretty popular, but still, franchise in the gaming industry. Does it have the potential to be successful? Absolutely, but Ubisoft would have to do some mega marketing and be the luckiest people in the world to have Heartland be a big success if it were to release really close to Battlefield, COD, or Halo. So what does this all mean? I think that if it releases between the months of October and December, Heartland is basically dead in the water. The Division audience will play it and, hopefully love it, but it will hardly get any streamer or general attention because of those other huge titles releasing. The quality won't matter once the hype of the launch window passes. It's critical for a game like this to have a clean, uninterrupted launch, right? That gives Red Storm the best chance they've got to make a good impression. So let's backtrack a little bit. What do we know about Heartland's potential launch window? Well, there's two big things. One is that the original Division Universe timeline had Heartland releasing before the Division 2's new content. Now, that's not necessarily official, but it's been what we've all kind of been going on thus far. It's been reiterated a few times that Division 2's new content will be ready for release by the end of this year, meaning that if that were to be still a true statement that Heartland is coming before, that it would release at least a little bit before that, which sounds awfully close to that October-November trouble zone that I just mentioned. And then secondly, if I'm recalling correctly, Ubisoft at the investor call said that Heartland would release within the fiscal 2021 year, which actually ends in March of 2022. Now this gives them 8 more possible months to stretch the development out if need be. It's not impossible, but it would surprise me if they waited that long, given the type of private testing they've done with a more public audience, as we saw happen with all of those leaks. But here's the thing, if they need 8 more months to make it have a good launch, then by all means, I feel like they should certainly take that, but I feel like Ubisoft wants their money ASAP, and I just don't get the vibe that the game needs 8 more months of development. So that's what we know for sure, but like I said, because of the lack of presentation at E3, we don't really know what's going on. I made some videos recently saying that I'm convinced we'll either get some sort of big Division Universe state of the game soon, or a big time slot at the next Ubisoft Forward or something similar. They can then showcase the game there and Division 2's new stuff and give a more definitive release window for both of those projects moving forward. And they could certainly do, if you recall back to when Apex Legend was revealed, they kind of did a reveal and release where it was released incredibly soon after the reveal, like 1 to 2 days or something. That certainly fires up the hype engines and could spread around the gaming community pretty fast. But like I said, it's all about avoiding that danger zone. A sudden or planned release could work well in August, but not so much in November. So before wrapping this up, I want to give my suggestions on what I think are 2 good launch windows for the Division Heartland. It depends on how close to ready the game is for release. If it's ready now or soonish, then I think that they need to release during or before September. This capitalizes on the kind of summer window, might get a lot of attention as a free-to-play game. If you have a lot of, kids that are out of school, they'll try any battle royale that releases that's free-to-play. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be a battle royale, but I think a lot of us kind of know what the general thing is there. It also gives it a bit of breathing room before Battlefield 2042 comes out in October. No release window is ever going to have an infinite window of no competition, but a solid month or so of no big distractions should be plenty of time for Heartland to make its mark. That gives people a chance to decide whether it's worth returning to or not. And then, if it is, then certainly if it has a full month to kind of make its mark, then after Battlefield and Halo and COD all come out and people kind of burn through those, then they'll probably return to Heartland. And that's kind of what we want to see happen, right? Or, if the game needs a bit more development time, then I would recommend they wait until January. This may seem like a long way out, and that would then mean it releases after The Division 2's new stuff, but honestly, that doesn't really matter, right? If they want to go against what they originally put in the timeline, it's not going to hurt anyone in the long run. I just think that if they try and release it during that October to December window, it's just going to get eaten alive, no matter how good or bad it may end up being. January is just far enough to where a lot of people will be winding down from a lot of those new releases. Even if Halo comes out in December, I think it'll be just enough time, and it kind of rides those holiday highs so that people still want to try out something new. Also, part of why I say January is that there is another competitor to be aware of, which is Destiny. Bungie announced a while back that their next expansion, the Witch Queen, will skip its usual quarter 3 or 4 release and come out in early 2022. And so I'm guessing that means February. I mean, it's not impossible to mean January, but because so many Division players also play Destiny, it could be a big issue if Heartland releases right around when a new Destiny expansion comes out. That's probably going to occupy people for a solid month or 2 months. So even if it were releasing later in January, the Witch Queen that is, I think Heartland could release in the first 2 weeks and probably, still have enough time to make an impression. A new Destiny expansion isn't quite as competitive as like a brand new title for a known brand like Battlefield, like Halo, like one of those. As long as the two projects don't release within like a week of each other, I think Heartland would be fine. So yeah, guys, I think that about concludes my thoughts on this topic. This isn't meant to make people start worrying that Heartland won't do well. It's also not an invitation to start dogging on the game for no reason, as some people like to do for Division stuff. I'm more excited about Heartland than anything else coming up in the Division universe, but I just think that if Ubisoft isn't careful, their free-to-play Division venture could be drowned out by the likes of Battlefield, COD, and Halo, and so that's why I think it's vitally important that they avoid the months of October to December, and if it were up to me, I would advise a release up to or during September 2021 or January 2022. This will give the Division Heartland its best chance at having a shot to show the gaming world why the Division deserves its place in the field, and why this free-to-play spinoff was needed in the first place. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on this whole potential ordeal. Do you agree with me that Heartland's release window could make or break its success? Do you think that October to December window should be avoided in that regard, and that January might be an ideal release window if they can't get it out before September? Let me know all that down below. I'm certainly curious what you guys think about all of that. But yeah, everyone, I think that's going to do it. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.